The next step is we can now start doing our layer by layer by layer by layer by layer method. So I'm going to start putting in the corners over here. I'm not worrying about the inner corners. I'm going to deal with that last. So let's find, here's a white, purple, and green. I want to put that in by the purple and green side. Now I want to minimize my motions because I'm now going to have to be very cognizant of areas that I've already put in. So that's this area here. So to minimize motion, I'm going to keep this here and I'm going to turn it until the proper edges will meet up with the purple and the green. So I'm going to move this here. So here's the purple and the green edge over there. So this will, I'm actually going to move this in place here and I'm going to just roll this in. Rubik's Cube fashion. I'm just going to roll this in. Boom, boom, boom. Brings that up there. Make sure I haven't touched that. So we're good. Now where's another white? Here's another one here. Might as well move these back to the right center. Oh, that's already in. How lucky is that? Well, actually, here's the other white. So I'm going to move this out. Move it back. So I'm going to look for the blue and beige. Right here. Roll this in. So that's over there. Find another white edge. Here it is, red and blue, takes to the eye pretty well. So right here, boom, 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 and with reckless abandon, I'm able to do this without worrying about what I did over here. Find the other white right here. Let's move it up into position. Then I'll turn this to where I can find the proper edge. And just wheel it around. I've got my silver dangerously close. We'll bring that back. Now I've got one more to do. Okay, right over here. Now this is associated with the silver side, so I'm just going to move this down. Get it out of harm's way. Beautiful. I think I bumped this out accidentally. There we go. There we go, no worries. Careful to move this out without destroying this. So we're gonna move this out like so, and just bring it back. This brings us here, bring this back here. Okay, it's actually a lot simpler than I just made it seem, so hopefully that doesn't dissuade anyone. Okay, there we go. Alright, wheel this in, up, and out. Okay. So we've got our first layer here of our shell. Looking down here, just make sure I didn't screw anything up here. That's good. So the next step now is we're going to put in these edges, and we're going to do it exactly like we did with the circle minx. So I'd refer you to that, but it's really just Rubik's Cube strategy. Let's look for, well, here's a blue and red. Here's a blue and red over here. So what I want to do is get this out of here and put this over here. Now the best way to bump this out without screwing this up is basically move this to here, but I'm not going to do that algorithm that I just showed, the FIL, you know, that algorithm. What I'm going to do is the one that puts this in here without changing this. That's the Rubik's Cube algorithm. Alright, so what that did is it should have bumped that out of here and put the red and blue somewhere else. Right over here. So I'm just going to wheel this down here and then wheel this one right down here. Okay, so that put that in here. It did mess this one up, and I'm not ready to keep that messed up as of yet. So we're going to quickly put this back in place. So I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to wheel this down into here by this algorithm. The previous middle moving algorithm, and that put that back in. Alright, so we got this here. Let's look for the red and green. Here's a red and green over here. I need to get this to move over here. So what I'm going to do in that case is wheel this to here first by the other mechanism, or the other algorithm. It's going to go bang, boom, bang, bang. As long as it was far away from here, it didn't mess it up. It put it here. Now I'm going to wheel this down to here by the other edge switching algorithm. And the reason that I'm doing that here is because I don't want to mess up my white side, so that maintains that. So that's in place. Green and purple. There it is, green and purple. So I want to make the long distance down to here. So we'll move this up. And I'm going to move this up over here. And then wheel this down here. Now be cognizant of what I did with my silver sides. We won't lose sight of that. So this we want to move down into here. But before we do that, let's get these silvers back. So actually when I had it here, I'm going to go 1, 2, so that I can move this back in. 1, 2. Then after doing that, I can now wheel this back over here. So now we want to see about wheeling this into here. What I'm going to do is try to move this back here so I can get it out of the way. So I'm going to move this down like so. Move this up, move this back. So now I've removed this from being a problem, and I need to put this over here and then wheel this down over here. But the problem is now I've got this making trouble, so I'm going to move this down, move this back, move this up. So now this is out of the way. I hope you caught all that. It's really just strategy of maneuvering things around. It's not the hard part of this. So and there that is here. Purple and yellow. Purple and yellow. Here it is over here. So move that here. Move this here. Now because I want to move this back, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one way of doing it. Move this back so that's out of the way. So I've got this here. Move this across here still. It's probably the more complicated than I need to make it. Now I still need to roll this down over here. So I'm going to move this like so. Move this back here. Move this back. Put this gray one back. So now I've got this in place over here. By turning it here, I can try to roll it in, but I've got this which is going to cause trouble. So same kind of thing. I'm going to move this here, then I'm going to move this down so that I can move this back, move this up. So everything's out of the way, this gets wheeled into here. And there we go here. I think we're in the home stretch. One more, yellow and blue. Right over here. So this will be a good example of how to wheel this all the way down here. So we're going to turn this over here. Turn this over here. And now I want to move this back. So I figure if I can turn this here, I'm not missing anything here. I can now turn this back and this back over here. So I'm just trying to put things back where I put it. So now I'm here. I want to get this down to here. Get this blue right next to where it's supposed to be. So turn this like this. Bring this over here. Allows me to bring this back. And we'll put this back here. So now this needs to come over here. I'm going to turn this over here. At the same time, I need to turn this back or I'm going to mess this up. So I'll just move it down. Move the silver one back. And then move this here. Okay. So really, it's just very intuitively rolling this around but putting this back here. Okay. So we have now the second portion of our bottom layer. We haven't screwed this up yet. I'll save that for later.